everybody, this is Mickey G. Have you ever thought long and hard about what someone's reaction might be, or even the answer to a question, and you found out that all you had to do was ask? Well, Rodney and I are going to talk about that and other things in this episode of Old Fools Talking Old School.
I mean, just even from the times when I go home and listen to them dudes down there and they're talking about stuff, it's so minuscule in what they would be satisfied with. They can't see a grand picture of something even better. You know, it's like that local, I always call them the, hell, I forget now, but everybody's on the same page. Ain't that right, man? Yeah, man. Ain't nobody thought nothing outside other than the little obvious small wins. You know, go big, man. You know,
Yeah,
have some vision, but that requires work. That requires work, though. See, that's what the problem is, and they don't have the wherewithal to do that.
Yeah. But, you know, as I've been thinking about it, I said, it's amazing sometimes what happens if you just ask.
Yeah.
You know, all they can do is say no.
That's right.
It's amazing what happens sometimes when you just ask and you present a logical defense of why you want to do something.
Well, you know yourself from dealing with the public, man. When you're talking to somebody that got some sense, it's an easier conversation. And resolution is even easier at that point. But when you're talking to somebody that's dug in the trench based on limited knowledge, that's a frustrating conversation. And I mean, it's just the way it is. It's funny you say that. I was just talking to Rosin the other day. We had went out and bought this whole new phone system because we thought our other one was screwed up. And something told me to keep my old phones. I kept them, man, from Best Buy and didn't know I put the receipt in the bag. It was still sitting there beside in my study. You know, I kept saying, I need to throw those phones away. Glad I did, man. All of a sudden now, we don't get on a landline that often, but
right.
Since I've been dealing with my roof and all this other stuff and all guttering people and all that, I haven't called my landline so they can leave a message. But anyway, the more I was on the phone with him, more he's like, "Oh, sorry, sir, we can't hear you. You're fading out." And I'm like, "What?" You know, like, this is the brand new damn phone. Hell, Pontu had told me a couple of times, "Man, you're fading out. You're fading out." I'm like, "Well, damn." Anyway, man, I spent good money for this thing. I said, I got to try to find my receipt. So when I pulled out my other one, oh, thank you, Jesus. Here's the receipt right here. I'm saying, oh, I bought it about 3 months ago. Hell, I bought that thing back in December, man. I was like, boy, when you don't know, boy, you just think, oh, that was just the other day. And it was like 6 months ago. So I was getting ready. I said, hell, I ain't wasting my time. I'm going to throw this crap in the trash. I'll just have to bite it. And so we were going somewhere. Oh, we were going to Lowe's. That's what it was. And Lowe's is right down the street from us. I was like, hell, I'm going to give it a try. All they can do is say no. You know, I went in there with it in a bag, with it in a Best Buy bag. Maybe that helped me. And I walked up to the girl like, hey, you know, in December, this is August, I bought these and it's just not working right. Blah, 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 blah. I had my case already down. You know, I was getting ready to go Johnny Cochran. And she said, okay, sir. She said, do you want to swap it out? I'm like, no, I don't want to swap it out. She said, okay. She said, I can't give you cash. I can't give it back to you. She said, but I can give you a Best Buy gift card. I guess they said, we're going to get this money some kind of way. So I was like, well, okay, that's all right. I'll take that. I don't know what y'all got in here that I want to buy out of here, but I'll keep that gift card. But I mean, just think, if I hadn't asked and thrown it away, I'd have just lost that money. You know, so that's right. It don't never hurt to ask. I'm like, hell,
No.
all they can say is no.
All they can say is no. And because I had a run-in with the folks out at Xfinity because they had to come out a couple of times. And one time I I was moving one of the boxes. Like I said, we've gone almost to streaming. We have a couple of boxes left in the house. Marion wanted a box. She didn't want to stream.
Mhm.
And so I was moving the one into the den. I said, I'll just put this one in here since we got extra. Well, the outlet wasn't working. So I called them, and the guy came out, and my modem is right there beside my den and my entertainment system. And he said, I can try to get that outlet to work. He said, but all I got to do is just split off from your routers right here. And I said, it saved me a lot of time. It's going to do the same thing. And I told him, I said, yeah, I was going to do the same thing, but I said I didn't want to screw anything up. So he said, I'll go ahead and do it for you. And he said, but they may want to charge you $100 fee for this, for installation. And also, if it shows up on your bill, just call them and tell them that all I did was split that off, and they'll take it off. And so I called them and told them the situation, and they did. They said, no problem. You've been a customer since 2005. We'll take this right off. And the lady was looking. She said, well, you got some discounts that are going to be dropping off pretty soon. He said, let me see what I can do for you. So she looked around, and she was real good. She said, yeah, well, we can go ahead and put you in this some kind of special thing we got going on right now. And that'll take some money off, and this will take some money off. So anyway, I got an email from them saying, this is what your expected monthly bill is going to be. So I said, good. I said, man, she saved me quite a bit of money. And so I'm looking at my checking account, which I do pretty much every day, and I look and there's a bill, the monthly bill. It's like $200 more than what she said, or this email said it was going to be. So I called them on the phone and said, look, I got an email right here. It says this is what my bill is going to be. I've been charged this amount. And the lady this is one of those customer service people that can barely speak English.
Oh yeah.
She's trying to tell me, well, sir, I don't know what's going on. I think that is a fraudulent email. And I said, well, in these days and time, they can disguise emails to look very authentic when indeed they are fraudulent. I said, okay. I said, no problem. I said, what do we need to do? She said, well, I'm going to send you over to our fraud department. I said, okay. So she sent me to the fraud department. The guy got on and looked. He said, I went in the record and looked. He said, no, that email came from us. It ain't no fraudulent email. It definitely came from us. So he said, I'm going to send you back to billing. So he sent me back to the billing department. I'm talking to the lady again. And she's like, well, sir, I don't see it in your record yet, and I don't have the email, so I can't verify, that of what that email said. I know you're not lying to me, but I just don't have the email to verify. I said, well, what do I need to do then? She said, well, you need to take that email out to the local Xfinity store and let them work with it. So I said, okay, no problem. So I go out to the Xfinity store. I got my email with me, and they had this young sister there. And I was hoping to get with this other lady that's helped me before, but she had a customer, and I was the next one up when the young lady called me over. And I just got a bad feeling from the very beginning. They called my name out, and I walked over there to where she was, and she was like, what's up? What's up? I said, well, I've been talking to the online, customer service, and this is the issue. I have this email here that came from you. And I said, they even sent me to your fraud department to make sure it's a legitimate email. And this is what they're saying my monthly bill is going to be. And I've been charged, almost $200 more. And she looked into it. Said, "Oh no, this can't be right. This amount is less than what you would need to pay for your cable package and stuff." I said, I don't know how that works. I said, but if you look at the email, there's, the lady had taken a discount for this and a discount for that. I said, she said she was going to try to see what she could do for me since some of my other discounts were expiring. Well, whatever she done is not right. This ain't right. We can't charge this. This is. And I'm like, well, I said, I'm just concerned that I've got this email. Well, emails don't mean nothing. I said, well,
What?
I don't know if you know that, but emails are admissible in court. And then she looked at me and said, we ain't gonna talk about court. If you don't take us to court, just take us to court. I turned around and walked away because I was about to say something that probably would have got me in trouble. And I said, I don't need that. So I just turned around and walked away, left the store. And I'm like,
That's what we deal with these days.
I'm like, had less customer service in my pinky finger than she had in her whole body. But
Yep.
yeah, we ain't gonna talk about court. I wasn't talking about court. I just was wanting to let her know.
Yeah.
For you to say it's just an email, I just want to let you know emails are admissible in court. And we ain't gonna talk about court. If you want to take us to court, just take us to court. I left. I said, I just, as I say, I didn't want to get myself in trouble and say some things. I just left.
Mm-hmm.
And and as I was talking to Marion about it, I said, it ain't so much about the difference in the cost. It ain't going to break us to pay that amount. I said, that's not the point I'm after. I said, it would have been nice if somebody, whether they're non-speaking English speaking person on the phone or the, so-called customer service person at the store that I talked to, if somebody had just said, we don't know why you got the email with that price. That just ain't right. We made a mistake. We apologize, but we just can't give it to you for that price. I would have said, okay, I understand. Sometimes you get, rogue customer service folks that, are quitting the next day. So they go ahead,
Yeah.
we're going to give you this, give you a month, a year's free, just so on their way out. I know those kind of things happen. I know people make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that. I said, if somebody had said, we made a mistake, we're sorry. I said, I would have been happy with that. I said, but everybody along the line made it seem like I was doing something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I've got your email that you sent me that your company had confirmed was a legitimate email you sent me. I'm just asking, why can't I get this price if you told me I was supposed to get it? But no, all along the way, they trying to make it seem like I'm either lying or doing something wrong. That's why I think, she told me to go take it to the store. When she said, I can't see the email, I said, basically, you can't take my word, which I sort of understand. But it seemed like all along the way, they were trying to make it seem like I was doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I ain't done nothing wrong, but try to figure out why y'all sent me an email telling me this is what my bill was going to be. And now you're telling me, no, there's no way that can be your bill. So, yeah. So, I mean, as I say, I was ready to say a few words more. And that's why I'm glad I told myself, just walk away.
Yeah.
Just walk away.
Well, I was telling Rosa, because she was dealing with these folks. You're surrounded by a damn military base. You're dealing with military people. But you're acting like you don't know what the hell is going on. She went and had a mammogram done, and this is about the third time. Well, they filed it wrong. And you sign that piece of paper when you go to the doctor that if they don't get paid with it, then they start sending you bills. But it is not our fault that you sent the wrong codes in to TRICARE for life so that you can get paid in a timely manner.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I've been telling this girl over and over again. I said, well, Rosin, there comes a time. Them people sitting at the desk, they only know a limited picture. Because I know I don't hesitate. If I'm not getting anywhere, if I'm telling you something logical and you can't get it, let me speak to your supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
Let me speak to somebody else. Because you know how they get to be an authority of their own little area.
Right.
And they think they know the whole story. And they're not taking into consideration the customer service that, you could possibly lose a customer. That could be your job. They're just wanting to be right because they know what they're talking about for that limited little thing. So I just said, no, I need to talk to somebody else. And then if they're really nasty, I tell them, I need to talk to a decision maker.
Mm-hmm.
You are not. And because, some of the stuff is so trivial. I even had to do that with the IRS. They were claiming that they started sending Rosin her Social Security too early. And I tried to explain this to the woman on there. She goes, well, I see here that I said, you're confusing mine with hers. And man, we got nowhere. So I had to make an appointment, talk to a person, because that's what during COVID.
Right.
And So they didn't do no in-office visits. So set the appointment up, and then they called me 20 minutes late. I had my Johnny Cochran stuff out, man. I had my desk down there, all stuff laid across, payments, bank statements, this and that, this and that. And she called in and she said, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Turner, I'm late." She said, "But you were right. We're gonna correct this." I'm like, damn, I've been prepping for this since last night. I'm ready for a fight. Shit, you know. No, you were right, Mr. Turner. Blah 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 blah. I was like, I'll be damned, because I had it on speakerphone because I couldn't speak on her behalf unless she gave me permission. So she just stood there. She looked at me. She's like, "All of that for this?" I said, "Yeah, that's how I feel." I'm like, shit. I been sitting up here and wrote down questions, got my notes, got everything I thought I needed, boy. And they was like, damn. And which trips me out because I said the same thing to the woman. The first place, the first guy, first thing. But she just couldn't see that. I was like, and then she had that accusatory tone. Like we were trying to get away with something. You know?
Yeah. I had a discussion with the people over at the assisted living home where my uncle is. I went to pick him up for his appointment Wednesday, and he looked like Grizzly Adams. He ain't had a shave in I don't know how long.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get him ready, get him dressed. I mean, I didn't have time to shave him to get to the appointment on time, so I didn't, just took him on to the appointment. And after I brought him back, I went down and talked to the lady and she really sort of works in the business office. And I said, but her and the ladies that worked at the reception desk were right there. I said, can I, get somebody to give my uncle a shave? And I said, he needs to be shaved at least, once a week. And they said, oh, that has to be done by the beautician. And I'm like, by the beautician? Yeah, it has to be done by the beautician. And, he has petty cash and we'll just take that out of petty cash and pay for it. I said, well, he's been getting shaves ever since he's been here. And it hadn't been through the beautician. It's been through what they call the ARs. I don't know what this AR stands for, but I guess it's, almost like the aides that go in to help them and stuff.
Right.
Well, I don't know, but he needs to get it, be scheduled with. I said, okay. I said, how much is it? Oh, it's only like maybe $10 or something. I said, okay. He just needs a shave. If it needs to go, the beautician needs to do that. Fine. Just have him get a shave, and just take it out of his petty cash. And then as I was leaving, there's a lady that Tara knew that we went through that sort of got us in there. But she's over there like community stuff. She plans all the bingo nights and all that kind of stuff. But she's been real. I mean, she's my go-to kind of person. So when I got back home, I sent her a text. I said, has things changed? I said, I just went and was asking the lady that runs your business office and the ones at the reception desk about getting my uncle shaved. And they said it's got to be done by the beautician, and it was going to have to come out of his petty cash. And she sent me a text back. She said, no, nothing has changed. They are wrong. I will go down and I will have a talk with them, and we will get one of the ARs to give your uncle a shave. Well, I went back there today to take him some paper towels and some stuff for his room. Mm-hmm. And as I was walking in, the lady who had told me that, she stopped me. She said, Mr. Gwynn, let me talk to you. She said, I was wrong. She said, I don't work in that area. I'm more of the business person. I don't work in that area. But I thought that's how he would have to get a shave. And I said, well, I just was, a little confused because he's gotten shaved since he's been here and it hadn't been through the beautician. She said, yeah. She said, the other lady name was Tamika. She said, yeah, Tamika came down and she let me know I was wrong. And I told her that I would apologize to you and tell you that I'd give you, incorrect information. And by all means, we will get the AR to help him, get him a shave and give him a shave every week. And, just another one of those situations where I said to myself, I said, I would think if you don't work in that area and you're not sure, maybe your response should be, I'm not sure. Let me find out.
Right.
And I'll get back with y'all. I'll give me your number. I'll give you a call or text or whatever it may be. I said, but you just don't go over it, like you said, and make this decision that just because I think it's right and this is how it should be, that you just go ahead and tell somebody that. Because in my case, yeah, you got me a little upset
Mm-hmm.
because of it. But like I say, I must admit she was, lady enough to call me into her office and apologize to me and said, tell me what all had happened, and she was wrong and all. But yeah, I mean, I that's why I tell people all the time, you know, you ain't it's not a bad mark on you to tell somebody, I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know the answer.
exactly.
Let me find the answer out for you, and then I'll get back. Which I did that with one of the young guys. I'm on that mentor program for this free college stuff they have here, and he called me and said, "Mr. Gwynns, I'm not going to be able to get into the school until January. I thought I was going to start in September, and paperwork got mixed up. Do I need to go ahead and take this and fill out another one of these financial aid forms that you have to fill out?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I don't think you do, because it's usually for the whole semester, the 23-24 term. But I said, let me find out. I said, I don't want to give you any bad information, so let me go find out. So I went back and looked in my handbook and everything, and it said that no, it's, once you fill it out, it's for the 23-24 semester, whether you go in fall of 23 or spring of 24. So I, texted him back, said, yeah, I went back and found out, and you don't have to take it over again. But yeah, didn't bother me at all to say, I don't know. Let me
Exactly.
find out. But some
Exactly.
people seem like it maybe they want to try to save face, or like you say, make it seem like they know everything.
Yeah.
So they'll tell you something just to tell you something.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I
But
mean,
this whole apparatus out here, since I'll tell you, I appreciate the military so much. I used to complain, but now I understand, because that's all I knew. I'd never been out here in this workforce before. This is some ass backwards stuff out here, man. I just noticed from like in this lady, not in her defense, but I can understand. You know how when we went into meetings, and even if I didn't work in that department, they would talk, because we're looking at the overall machine running together smoothly. And since I've been out, well, when I was out here, people would make decisions and make moves for their department, not even caring about how it affects another department. Yeah, well, we're going to save such and such and such, but you just put the burden on these people. You don't even tell them. It should be something where you sit down and you talk about it, and then everybody can air out how it might affect them or not. And then, but again, let everybody know, okay, we're going to change this, and this is how we're going to operate. But boy, everybody's so locked in on keeping their job, and they want to be the only one to know. Well, I'm the only one that knows this. Like it's a job security thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And it just causes for havoc, man. That's why stuff don't work smoothly out here. If you're gonna make a change, let everybody know. Ain't nobody judging it. You're supposed to be the expert for your department, so you're making this change, and you can explain why and how it might affect somebody else. But they just make a change, and all of a sudden you wonder, where is this coming from? So I can see it.
Yeah. And I think that's some of the my military training and all, was how I handle some things even when I was working for the VA.
Yeah.
Because I'd been basically did the same job my entire 18 years with the VA. Knew pretty much every aspect of it. Had gotten pretty much any question you could ask about the program that I ran.
Right.
But I always made it a point, when somebody would call and ask me a question, or send me an email and ask me a question, it wasn't just okay, you need to do A, B, and C, or the answer is yes, or the answer is no. I would tell them, the answer is yes or no, and this is where it is in the VA regulation. This is where it is in the law itself, or wherever the answer comes from. Because I looked at it like, you should not always just take my word because I've been doing this forever and every kind of thing. I said, you should I want to educate you too on where it comes from.
That's
So
right.
hopefully, if maybe you get that question from somebody that has a similar type of situation or whatever, you can say, yeah, I talked to Mickey Gwynn about it, and he said, the answer is no, and this is where it is in the VA reg, or where it may be. I didn't mind doing that. I didn't mind doing that. Matter of fact, I just made it a point. in 99% of the times when I was answering questions to give you the source of my answer.
Right.
And that was sort of like the way we were brought up in the military. It was like, well, what Air Force reg said you can or can't.
Right.
And if it's
Right.
not in there, then that's when you got to go and say, well, maybe that's something that needs to be in the next rewrite of this reg. We need to put that answer in there, kind of thing. So I agree with you. I think a lot of times that military, I know my military time helped me. I can even see it in this situation I was telling you about before, when we went down and talked to the city, and then even when we went down later on and talked to the lieutenant governor. I said, the main thing they always told us about briefing was you got to get to the point, but they're also just that. They're brief.
Right.
You don't have to have all this flowery language and ramble for an hour, and people at the end are still saying, well, what's the answer?
Well, you lose people. You lose people,
and
man.
You lose people. I've always felt that way too. And I think sometimes, as we've been talking, I think sometimes that intimidates people too, because they look and say, well, and I think sometimes that does do that. But I also think a lot of times it helps you get your point across that, they do have their stuff together.
Right.
And if we're gonna come back on them with anything, we damn sure better have our stuff together.
You're damn right.
So I think that military training helped in a lot of ways, like you say, that you don't think about it when you're going through it. And matter of fact, there was times you were going through it that you just felt it was a waste of time.
Yeah.
Why do I need to know that? Why do I need to know you got to go through step A, B, and C kind of thing? Well, looking back on it, it's come to help out a whole lot. Now I understand a whole lot better.
Yes, indeed. Ronald Reagan. But he said one thing that has stuck with me for the rest of my life. That is trust, but verify.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody would call me and I tell them verbatim what they need to do, I still went back to the book myself. Now, let me make sure I'm telling the right, and it's a tool for me to stay sharp up on and having the conviction when I say something, because I know, okay, I just checked that, And I would do that all the time. And half the time what I do is the person's on the phone like, hold on a second. I already know what the answer is, but I'm going to pull the book up, and okay, it says here, blah, blah, blah. You know how people can read the same thing and interpret it a different way. Then we can discuss, and, yeah, man, people are so afraid to say that they don't know. I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't either. I always felt like if I don't know, I'd rather go and find the right answer than to tell you the wrong answer, and then that come back to burn you and me.
That's right.
So that to me has never been a problem to do that. But that's that's just how some people are.
Yeah, man.
Hey, everybody, don't be afraid to say you don't know. I think a lot of time, especially as men, you think you got to have the answer right at that point. Let somebody know that you don't have the answer, but you'll find the answer. In the end, it usually helps both of you. Well, hope you enjoyed this episode. Please join us next time for Old Fools Talking Old School. Until then, this is Mickey G. Peace.